Okay.
So I always like asking people like the Brent Adamson, what motivates you to do what you do? And we were talking earlier about how like a Lori Richardson or a Lauren Bailey, like their passion, it's so beautiful, is to help women in sales. And, you know, then there's other people like a Todd Capone who wants to bring
He's great.
transparency. I love Todd
Yeah.
into sales. And I asked you, Brent Adamson, what drives you to do what you do, and what's your new book about? Like, I think it's going to be a big deal.
Well, I hope so. First of all, for the record, as you know this, I think I've told you this before. I'm not the Brent Adamson. I'm actually factually a Brent Adamson.
Okay, well, there are others.
There's at least 4 others that I know of. But in any case,
But you're one of the authors of the Challenger sale.
doesn't matter. But what you actually asked me was, what am I passionate about? And I think for a lot of us, if we're really being honest, the answer is I don't know. I mean, do you ever have that morning when you look in the mirror and think, I don't know?
Every day.
Right? And then you
Every
ask yourself,
day.
like, is it bad that I don't know? Am I supposed to know? Do other people know and I don't know? Is that so? Then you get that can spiral out of control pretty quickly. But it actually can take you to this really interesting place, which is the thing that fills my cup. And I know you, because I know this fills your cup too. The thing that fills my cup is when you interact with someone, and as a result of that interaction, maybe they feel just a little bit better about themselves than they did before the interaction. And that works in sales, but you know where else that works? In the Starbucks drive-thru. It works with your kids, if you're lucky, right? It works with your spouse, but it works with anybody. But the book, specifically, the book it wasn't intentional. It was more like I backed into this idea, really, because it started with all the stuff you know about. There's data on customer confidence, how they need to be more confident in themselves. But the more I looked at the data and the more we built out the story, the more it came down back to this sort of idea of what fills my cup. And the two kind of came together and collided. And that's when I had this epiphany. So, okay, it's time to write another book. Because, you know, I don't like writing books. It's hard for me to write books.
Well, it's love-hate.
I pull them out of a corner of my
Yeah,
soul.
no, it's a love-hate
hard.
relationship.
It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
So if I had to sum up the body of work, and I don't even know if this is going into the book. It'll be in all the material around the book for the right audience. But if you had to sum up the book in just a simple idea, it's this: if you think about sharing, I've asked you this before. If you think about some of the people you care about in your life, and I know that you care you care deeply, right? And you care a lot about. There's a number of people who are lucky enough to be that person in Shari Lifton's life. And when you think about those people that you care about in your life, the people that you truly love, and maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's someone from your past. It doesn't even have to be someone from today, but you think someone you really love, and you think about that relationship that makes you feel kind of warm and fuzzy inside, and you think, you know, I love you, not just because I love you, but I love you because I love me when I'm around you. And if we're lucky, we have one or two of those people in our lives. Or at least we've had one or two of those people in our lives. The people that you want to be around because they just bring something out in you that you look at yourself from outside of yourself and you think, I love that version of me. Right? I want to be that person all the time. I want to be around you because I like me when I'm around you.
Right.
It's so incredibly so the question I've been writing about is, and maybe it's like, instead of the kind of crass business world, right? If you take this out, but it's like, how can a salesperson be someone like that for their customer? How can I interact with a customer in such a way that the result of that interaction isn't that the customer feels better about me, but the customer feels better about themselves? That's really powerful. It's like, as a result of working with him or with her, I feel more confident in the decision I'm going to make. I feel more confident in my ability to navigate my organization. I feel more confident to go talk about this idea to my colleagues. I feel better about myself. And that's going to come back to you in goodness. If you can be the person, if you can be the person that helps other people feel better about themselves, I think you win.
Right, because what you're doing is, and you're also creating an emotion. And we all know that when people have an emotional feeling of goodness or of confidence, when you're around me, if you make me feel like I'm wonderful or witty or confident or lovable, I'm going to love being with you more.
You're just gonna. It's like, what's the thing you talk about all the time? It's the hit of, what is it, dopamine, or it's
Yeah,
probably
dopamine.
It's one of the good ones. Right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's like I like being
hit
around.
of dopamine.
I get a hit of dopamine every time I'm around her. Right. That's kind of probably where love comes from too. Right. But there is, I think, just why we don't talk about this kind of stuff in sales, right? And there's something really interesting about it to me too, which is notice that the starting point of this kind of selling isn't selfish, it's selfless, right?
Right.
I'm not solving,
You're so good with words.
I'm not solving for me.
Right.
I'm solving for you.
Right.
But in solving for you, I win.
Right.
That's kind of cool. That's what I'm right about.
What's the title of the book?
That's a great question. Stay tuned.